Test, 1 2 3. I can't tell if this mic is on actually. Anyways guys, check it out. Welcome to the video. Look at my hands. All right, this is it. Right away, this is 90 degrees. Going back about 90 degrees also. Now going this way, check it out. That's all I can do. I'm pushing it as much as I can. Now I'm going back this way. I'm pushing it as much as I can. That's all the flexibility I have on my right wrist. As you can see from the thumbnail, I underwent an injury that changed my life. This happened 5 or 6 years ago, okay? This happened, now let's go back to 2018, 2019, around that time. We went snowboarding, me and the boys. We were up on the mountain over there in Mammoth, and it was towards the end of the day. You know, I was hitting jumps here and there, and then my last run, I was like, you know what, let me just try something new. Let me just do a little jump into like a 180 type of thing, and I tried it, right? As I was landing, I caught like, I don't know, the end of my board caught an edge, but I landed on my board, and then I fell onto my hands, onto my wrists, right? I went down like this, and this was the position that I was going for as I was falling down, right? To kind of like break my fall, right? As soon as that happened, I felt like a little tweak on my right wrist. I'm like, fuck, dude, I sprained my right wrist again. And I've underwent, you know, sprains here and there. I've had injuries from different sports, but this one, honestly, because I've had previous sprains, I thought this one was gonna be just like any other sprain. So I went months, I'm telling you, months without getting it checked out. I stuck to my usual care, which was like a splint, and I used that throughout the day. I still went to the gym, I still did my daily exercises, I still pushed my wrist to the limit. Now fast forward 6 months, 7 months, the pain wouldn't go away, and that's when something clicked. I was like, yo, I gotta get this checked out because this is not normal. And I should have thought about that, you know, a month, 2 months in, because the sprain only lasts maybe like 4 weeks or so. But I should have thought about it, you know, 5 months in, but I neglected it, and I was just stubborn. I didn't want to accept that, you know, that it could be worse. I didn't want to accept that I could be wrong, and it was more than a sprain. So fast forward 7 or 8 months, right? Fast forward, I go to the doctor, and they ask for x-rays, and I get x-rays done. And by that time, I was like, dude, this is something serious. I'm starting to accept it. Because I'm getting x-rays, I'm starting to accept the fact that this is going to be more than a sprain. I get the x-rays, and sure enough, I have a fracture on my right wrist, on my scaphoid bone. I have a fracture. And if you know the bones that make up your wrist, there's a bunch of little tiny bones that are holding your wrist together, a bunch of little tiny bones that allow you to move, you know, to allow you to get that full mobility. And one of the main bones in my wrist was fractured. And this whole time, the whole 7 to 8 month period where I thought it was a sprain, it was an actual fracture. And again, throughout that entire time, I was going to the gym, I was benching, I was you know, curling, I was doing a bunch of things that involved my wrist. And dude, I'm sorry, just thinking about it pisses me off because I feel like that could have been avoided, but here we are, it doesn't matter. So going back to it, the bone's fractured at this point, and I have to schedule a surgery. And then at this point, I'm like, damn, okay, I really screwed up. I have a dead bone that's been in my wrist for the past 8 months. I've been doing a bunch of physical activities, not really caring about the healing process. So going back to the first surgery, they put in a screw in my wrist to try to stabilize the bone, right? Try to fuse the two pieces together. The goal of the screw was to fuse in the scaphoid, you know, get the two pieces that were dead, and try to see if there was like some blood flow that can potentially happen from this screw. Sure enough, you know, I was in the cast for about 2 months or so. I come back, I get more x-rays done, and again, the x-rays came back negative. I was pissed. The bone wasn't fused. I was like, all right, so what are we gonna do now? Like, I was talking to the surgeon, and he had some other ideas, and one of the ideas that he mentioned was doing a bone graft, right? A bone graft is basically getting a piece of another bone and placing that bone on top of the dead bone, trying to revive it, trying to get some more blood flow into it. So I went that route. That was the second surgery. and that one was a little bit more tedious. They gave me, it was like a device that I used to place on top of my bone. I think it was like an ultrasound device that I placed on top of my wrist area right here to kind of increase, I don't know what it was. It like generated pulses to increase the blood flow. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't understand the machine, but they gave it to me. I qualified for it. My insurance covered it. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm just going to undergo this surgery and then I'm going to use this device. And that was probably another 2 or 3 months. This was all the second surgery, okay? So time goes by. I'm getting towards the end of the healing process, or so I thought. And it's time to check in with the doctor to see what's going on. I go back to the office. He has the results in his hand. And again, I was very disappointed to hear that the bone was not healing. And I was like, dude, like, what are my options now? The bone's not healing. I've tried 2 surgeries already. Am I gonna have to do a 3rd surgery? Like, at this point, I was kind of stressing out because, you know, the surgeon basically told me that he wouldn't be able to perform a 3rd surgery because it was a little too complicated. And at that point, I took kind of matters into my own hand. I was trying to look for another surgeon, another hand surgeon around the area, something that my insurance could cover. And I finally came across this one surgeon in Lakewood, and I was able to undergo a 3rd surgery, but this time he gave me a decision for my 3rd surgery. I go in, he has my x-rays and he's looking at it, he's taking a look at my wrist and he's seeing what I can do, and he's trying to, you know, he's trying to give me my options. And sure enough, he tells me like, okay, so this bone's dead for so long, there's no healing that's coming about it, and there's only one other option, and that's basically fuse the entire bones, like the 4-corner, it's called a 4-corner fusion. And that was the option that he was telling me that that's all I had left. Basically, the 4-corner fusion fuses my bones together. Everything in here fuses together, and I wouldn't, literally, this is all I would be able to do. Okay, this. So in my mind, I was like, shit, that's gonna be tough, man. I mean, look, I'm grateful for my extremities. I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful for my health. But when something is damaged to your body and something alters the way you live, you still, you know, it still comes across your mind. Like I 100% understand the fact that there's other people that have way worse situations than I do. So I'm extremely grateful for what I had to deal with. I'm grateful that it wasn't bigger than, you know, it wasn't a bigger issue. So I'm extremely grateful for that. However, it's still one of those things that affects you daily, right? It's life-changing. I kid you not, it is life-changing, because after this point, I could not do a lot of the things that I found easy to do, right? Push-ups, I can't do push-ups anymore. I can't really write with a pencil. I can't throw something with my right hand as hard as I wanted to, like a baseball, for example. I loved playing baseball. I can't really throw a baseball, so that's hard. I can't do a handstand. When I go to the gym, my bench press is kind of off because my wrist doesn't, you know, have that support. It's kind of just locked in place. So that kind of makes it difficult. All these little changes do play a factor in my mentality and the way I approach everything on a daily basis. So yeah, this is life-changing. And going back to the 3rd surgery, it's over. I'm in the recovery room now, waiting for my doctor to show up in post-op. So I'm there, he comes in and he tells me, hey, so I'm gonna give you some good news. We went in there, I opened up your wrist and we took a look at it, and I was able to salvage some of your wrist, basically. We were able to avoid the 4-corner fusion, and instead we did a semi-fusion. I don't know what it was, honestly. I honestly don't know the correct name. But basically, they fused something else. They didn't do a 4-corner fusion. They fused something else. And because of that, I'm able to get that, you know, this little movement that you see right now. Because of that, I'm able to get this much movement. If it weren't for that, if it weren't for this surgeon, you know, I'd probably be like this. And I'd probably be living a life where my hands permanently like this. And that was, you know, I'm super grateful that happened. So moral of the story is basically, guys, whenever something's wrong with your body, go check it out, man. Don't be afraid. Don't wait till the last minute. Only you know your body to a full extent, okay? No one else is gonna tell you how you feel. You're the one that's living in your body. You know exactly what's going on at all times. So if you feel something's off, go get it checked out. Don't be like me, don't procrastinate, because you will regret it. Oh, so you can see right now, so this is where the first surgery happened, right there. Second surgery was in here. And then the third surgery was, I think, over here also. I know one of these sides had 2 incisions. I don't remember which one exactly it was, but you can see, look, I got that long scar from here to here, and then I got another scar from here to here. So yeah, guys, if you guys have ever undergone a life-changing surgery, leave them in the comments, and I'll be glad to chat with you about any of this. And honestly, if you're in the process of going through a life-changing surgery, like, dude, reach out to me. I'll give you some guidance. I'll help you get through this. I'll help you navigate through the process, because, you know, it does suck. It did suck when I didn't have anybody for me when I was going through this. I was, you know, doing my Reddit research. I was looking online for some groups that I can associate myself with, but honestly, in the end, I just, you know, handled it myself. Obviously, my close friends and my family members were there for me, but even then, though, it would have been nice to have someone that underwent something similar, just to see what their thought process was like, just for me to vent to them, or just to walk me through everything. It isn't the end of the world when you do undergo something like this. It really does help you appreciate what you do have. So in my case, right, before this accident, I really didn't truly appreciate everything my body was capable of doing, right, to its full extent. And now after the surgery, I'm, you know, more appreciative. I'm super grateful that I have, you know, my hands that still function, my legs that still function. I can still do daily activities. I can't do them to a full extent. Some parts here and there, I can't do everything fully, but at the end of the day, I'm still grateful of what I do have. And yeah, sorry guys for the background noise. There's a freeway right here, right behind me. There's a freeway. So this little corner park is right around the block from where I live. And I feel like I'm gonna be coming here a lot just to record. So, you know what, I'll give you guys a little 360. Let's check it out. It's pretty cool. It's pretty nice and mellow for the most part. We got some basketball courts over here. We got a little baseball court over here. But yeah, I hope you guys like this little, you know, video about a life-changing incident. If you guys want to chat, go ahead and message me. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys undergo a surgery, don't be afraid to speak up. Reach out to people. Don't be like me and just hold it in, man. You're smarter than that. So, again, thank you guys for watching. Peace out. I love you guys. Until next time.